All right, here is one more rational equation to solve. But at first you might say, hey, that doesn't even look like a rational equation, Perkster. What's going on? And that's why I picked this problem. I just want to remind you what a negative exponent means. So negative exponents are a position. Okay, so that means that here is the equation. We've got 4 plus. Now notice this -1 power is applied directly to the x, not to the whole thing. So what this says is the base is in the wrong place. I need to move that x because it has a -1 power. So my second term is going to be 7 over x. And then equals, again, I have negative x to the -2. So that is going to be a -1 in the top and x squared in the bottom. Just in case you're confused, you might be asking yourself, Mr. Perkins, why did the 7 stay where it was? If there was a parentheses around the whole thing, then I would have indeed moved the 7 and the x to the bottom. But in this case, the -1 is only applying to the x. So this is the equation we are asked to solve. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to clear the fractions to this problem. Remember, the common denominator is 1 of every factor you see. And then if there's power, highest power. The only factor I see here is an x, and then the highest power on the x is 2. So what I'm going to do is multiply everything by x squared. So I'm going to put an x squared right here, I'm going to put an x squared right here, and an x squared right there. There's my common denominator. What this should do for me is clear all of the fractions. So 4 times x squared is 4x squared, plus here, x squared divided by x leaves 7x. And then here the x squareds cancel, and I have -1. So once again, I have a quadratic equation. I'm going to get that all on the same side. 4x squared plus 7x plus 1 equals 0. And so at this point, if this problem was to factor it. If it doesn't factor, like I'm pretty sure this one does not, then I'm going to use the quadratic formula. With my value of A is 4, my value of B is 7, my value of C is 1. So here goes. Negative B is -7, plus or minus the square root of B squared is 49, minus 4 times A, which is 4, times C, which is 1. And all of that is over 2A. 2 times 4 is 8. The rest of this is arithmetic that I hope you're comfortable with. And so I have -7 plus or minus. Here, 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times -4 is -16. And 49 minus 16 turns out to be 33. That square root will not simplify, so there is nothing left to do. Clearly, the only thing that makes the denominator here 0 is going to be 0. So both of these answers are perfectly good solutions. And so your solution set is this. I have -7 plus or minus the square root of 33 over 8. And you can separate those if you want. But since it's not a complex number, I'm going to leave it just as one fraction. There you go.